If you're an agency, make sure you get those in place because it will benefit you in the long term.
It's an absolute steal, if you ask me.
Yeah, go with your gut feeling of people that you feel that you can work with and you like.
What really is the agency? Hello, and welcome back to Horizon Podcast with Chloe
And Tom.
and Tom. Welcome back.
You all right?
Yeah. So it's been a long couple of weeks, has it? No, when did we last film?
Seems like a lifetime ago, but I can't
No, it does.
remember
I know.
the exact date.
Time is flying when you work
It
in
is.
an agency, and I guess in this podcast we will be touching on a bit of agency life and that. But before we get into what's coming up, I guess what you've been up to this week.
Been busy.
It has been so busy.
Went to a trade show, didn't we?
We did go to a trade show over the weekend. We were done. What did we do? Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So
Yeah.
it was a very, very busy weekend.
Me, you, and Beth.
Yeah, great experience.
It's a secret, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a secret. It sounds awful to say that, but
Yeah, we can't tell anyone where we actually went.
no.
We probably
Basically-
can now, but like, at the time it was like a secret, wasn't it?
Yeah. So basically, it was a jewellery event, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's so much money in jewellery, it's a security threat, isn't it, really?
They didn't trust to tell us. We didn't know where we were going until the last minute.
No. So Tom said, do you want to go to this event? And me and Beth were like, there's no website on it. There's nothing online. We thought,
He's
really?
lying.
He's lying, or this event just doesn't exist, or we're going to get scammed.
Scammed. But yeah, I left you. I didn't turn up till Sunday morning. Left you to Alex Saturday night.
Big mistake.
What a disgrace.
It's all networking. It is all networking. We made some great connections anyway. So,
I'm sure you did.
yeah. Absolutely. You're just jealous. Yours.
Yeah, you smoothed the road for me to come in, swoop in, and take the glory of all the sales.
All of my sales,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
come in and nicked.
Save the day.
Yeah,
like-
absolutely. As always.
I'm like Batman,
No, wouldn't go that far.
Bin Man.
Enough about you anyway. Let's get into the podcast.
Yeah, go on then. Go on.
So, what are we going to touch on today? So, basically, as I said, we're going to talk about maximising the results with an agency. We're going to touch a bit on agency life, how you can best work with us or any agency that you choose, if you choose an agency, and how you, like, is it a collaboration? Do we do all the work? Do you do all of the work? Understanding the processes that are involved, the objectives and the visions. And that's basically it in a nutshell. If you want to stay till the end, that's what...
Nuggets of gold.
Nuggets are gold. Golden
Gold.
nuggets. Elite cereal.
Yeah, what a cereal that is.
Yeah,
by the way.
doesn't fill you up though because it's full of sugar, but
Yeah, but like when you drink the milk after, like.
oh, it's so sugary and
yeah,
sweet.
So good.
Haven't had that in years.
No, I mean, I bet they don't sell it anymore. Too dangerous.
Too dangerous. I mean, they still sell sugar puffs, so and
Really?
Cookie Crisp.
I haven't seen sugar puffs on them for a while.
I think I have.
Anyway, that's
Yeah.
not agency life, is it?
No, that's not agency life.
Well, that actually it is because that's like the topic of conversation, stuff like that all the time.
Yeah,
That's why we never get anything done.
yeah,
just
we
talk
do.
about
We're very
absolute-
hard working.
So, I mean, you know what my biggest pet peeve
What?
of being an agency is? It's when people are like, oh, we've worked with an agency before and it was rubbish. It's like, well,
We're not all the same.
no, we're not.
No.
Like, we've got some pretty clear processes, haven't we, about how we do things.
Yeah, I think that's what obviously the higher.
Yeah, that's
you-
what this is about, really.
Yeah.
It's just, what you should be looking for. Maybe some red flags along the way to watch out for.
You.
Yeah, if I pop on the screen on the first discovery call, right. It's not the
Red
one for me.
flag.
Um,
No, but seriously, I guess you get it a lot when you're on these like onboarding and sales pitches kind of thing that people say, what really is the agency? What can you expect from us? What do we expect from you?
yeah, I'd say that's one of the two biggest objections we find is, I've worked with an agency before, it just didn't work, like didn't understand us, blah, blah, blah. Or, I've done that before and it didn't work.
Yeah.
It's so difficult because you're already starting from like a negative.
Oh yeah. Nothing's going to work that way.
Very few people are coming to you who have had necessarily positive experiences with agencies before. There's, even the biggest, best companies have had bad agencies. What I mean?
Yeah.
And then, is it that they're bad, I suppose, or is it that it just wasn't well aligned?
Yeah, and I think that's what we look for mostly, isn't it? That our values align with the businesses that we work with, just to make it a seamless process. Because if you've both not got the same vision, you're not going to make it.
Otherwise, you're trying to just shoehorn your vision into theirs, or, you know, I think sometimes the temptation is when you're trying to win businesses, you just do anything to win it sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like, that's not a good way to go, because it just ends in either you can't deliver it or you just can't meet the client's expectations.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's a good place to start, really. You know, one of the first things we have a very clear process. We start with strategy, and then it goes into delivery after that. Because finding an agency takes time. You know, and you're probably talking to at least a couple. You know, we always find we're not, even on the smaller bits of business that we do, it's never just a gimme.
No.
There's always, maybe someone they're working with currently, or maybe they were speaking to a couple of others as well. So that process takes time. So then what the worst thing that can happen then is like you choose your agency, and then they're like, right, we'll start, if it's social media or something, or content, can we start posting tomorrow? Like,
that is, when you say that, I'm literally like, it's not possible.
Yeah.
Like,
and also, like, you spent 2 months trying to find this person.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it the proper way.
100%. It takes so much research.
Yeah, it's getting the strategy right, aligning, getting the benchmarks in place, sometimes even before we've even got to the contract. Because different metrics are important to different clients. Some clients, all they care about is ROI. They don't care about necessarily brand awareness or anything like that. Other clients, it's all about brand awareness. That's what they want. So I suppose it just depends on what the client's doing as to what those. But I always find to have some metrics in place that everyone's kind of agreed to before we started.
100%. Communication, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
sort it out. Right, this is what we're going to achieve by month 6. We're going to have got to this point. We'll reevaluate at month 3, see where we are against those metrics. Are we, 90% of the way there? Are we over it? If we're over it, do we
reforecast it, rejig it?
Yeah, exactly. Reforecast it and then go again. Or, that one's tracking a little bit under. Do we dedicate a bit more time in that area? But that really is the solid foundation of the relationship, really.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you just start doing this work, and what you think's really good, the client is like, that's not good.
No, for no real reason.
My engagement's only gone up 2,000%.
Yeah. 2,000%?
Yeah, and they just think that's rubbish.
Yeah.
But, we should, if we've had those benchmarks in place and spoken about that before it started.
Everyone is aligned. Everyone's expectations are the same.
So if you're employing an agency, that's definitely, let them know your expectations, what they are. And if you're an agency, make sure you get those in place, because it will benefit you in the long term. You'll retain clients for a lot longer. That's definitely what we've seen. We've made these mistakes we've made.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
No, it wasn't. Happens all the time. But you got to learn these things. And also, you don't necessarily think of that as like a major stumbling block, but
no,
it's pretty. Some people do watching this, I suppose, or listen to it and going, "Oh, that's obvious," but it's not that obvious.
No,
actually, when you're in it. Doing it.
No.
You need to kind of get to that point. And then communication, I suppose, sort of ties into that, doesn't it?
It is the main one, and I don't feel like many clients come on and they realise how much work they need to put in. So I think communicating that from the offset, because some clients don't speak to us at all, let's be honest. But I think the more input you can get, the better the output is.
Generally. Again, It depends what it is as well, doesn't it? To some extent, like sometimes you need client input, or you just need a little bit of direction. So it's just making sure, right? Okay, how often are we speaking? Is that a recurring thing in your diary? Get that right. We speak at 2:00 every second Tuesday or whatever it is, and that's that's the format for that. sometimes it's only 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah, but it's just touching base again, isn't
and
it?
just making sure, right, okay, what's happened in the previous
Mm.
2 weeks? Again, what have we... Because, you've got your at the start, we always start with that sort of overarching strategy, don't we? Like try and get that 6-month strategy in place. But to make those overall targets work, it's obviously their monthly strategy to make those things work.
Mm.
So we can break it down into more micro detail to say, okay, this week, this is what we're going to try and achieve. We go into that call, right? Yeah, we did this, and this, but we're a bit behind on this one. So then hopefully you never get behind on those overall targets because you're tracking it
Constantly.
kind of as you're going.
100%.
Really important.
So what would you say, like, for a new client coming on from the start?
Yeah.
What would they expect from the minute they inquire with you to the minute they come on as a client?
The best experience they've ever had.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, I can find excitement in virtually anything.
Like real life excitement?
No, but like for me, like when you speak to a client, like if we can't get excited about what they do, then why would they want to work with you?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So it's not like a fake thing. I just get excited. I think, oh wow, I think we could do a really good job for them.
Yeah, you have so many ideas. You can see the light bulb go off in your head, can't you?
And I'm just on it, and I was like, sometimes that ends in like major disappointment. More often than not, to be fair, because we might win 20 to 30% of the business that we that inquire.
Yeah.
So 70-80% of the stuff that you've got really excited about and really want to work on, you don't end up doing it. So there's major disappointment there quite a lot of the time. And the wins are just, I win it and it's off my plate. Do you know what I mean? It then goes into
onto the next
delivery, and and I don't really get to have that much involvement. Maybe in the initial strategy or something like that, but the actual delivery of what I've sold them would, I don't. It's just my job to communicate to you guys, like, right, these are the expectations. This is what we want to do. This is how we're going to do it. This is how I think it should be done. But obviously, ultimately, you're gonna deliver it. But so that's kind of how our internal processes kind of work. But there's more major disappointment. There is kind of because I think my sort of general, having done this for quite a long time, my general nous of knowing from the start whether something's worthwhile or not, spending a lot of time on or not, is quite good. So I have an idea of whether someone's got the money to spend or they're just not going to be a high spender. Or
do you think that's most of the issues that you find? People just don't have the budget?
I don't think people value it enough.
Yeah. And we did notice that at the event, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People go, I want to achieve this goal. Okay, well, it's going to cost X.
Yeah.
But if you think of an agency, right? If you pay an agency £5,000 a month, let's say, that's a reasonably high figure, right? But so it's £60,000 a year. A very good marketing manager will cost you £60,000 a year to hire internally. But there's no way in the world that one person is going to be able to achieve what an agency could achieve in the same period of time.
That's so right.
Yeah. Because in an agency, so that person will be responsible for SEO, PPC, organic social, paid social, email marketing. Well, they might only be an expert in email marketing.
Yeah.
So they're kind of winging the rest. Like they understand it, but are they amazing at it? No.
Yeah. No.
You pay an agency 60 grand. You've got a PPC specialist. You've got an organic social specialist. You've got a paid social specialist. You've got an email marketing person. You've got designers. You've got strategists. And you're paying one fee to get
all of that.
the years and years of expertise of all those people.
100%.
You break it down like that, it's an absolute no-brainer.
It's an absolute steal, if you ask me.
Sorry, marketing managers. I'm not saying don't hire you, but like, you know, they still need support. Is again another thing to say. Like, you know, if you've got a marketing manager, you know, like I've just said, they can't cover all that ground. So then, do you need an agency to support that person?
Oh, 100%.
To do right, they're doing this, this, and this, overseeing the whole thing. But then, you know, you've got an agency that's doing your, you know, social or paid social or PPC. Maybe they're the things that drop off that person's radar. Or that's where their weaknesses are. Let's say. So you pay an agency a couple of grand or whatever it is, $2 or $3 grand, and they're responsible for those 3 things. So there's different ways you can work.
Yeah.
But it's just utilising your budget in the best possible way. And yeah, you can't expect one person to do that.
Do it all. It's just not possible, is it? Even if you had 50 years of experience in marketing, there's just not enough time to do anything good, and do it well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's the quality, isn't it? I think of the work rather than, you know, whether the person knows about it. Yeah, they definitely know what PPC is. They definitely know what social is. They definitely know what good looks like, or whatever. But can they actually deliver good just by themselves? Probably not.
Nobody's got the time in the day, have they, really? No. And I think that's all of our clients, why they come to us. Majority is like, we've just not got the time.
Yeah, it's a really common thing. You know, we're dealing with some pretty decent sized businesses within our client base that just, you know, they're really good at what they know about, and it's like, you know, some of them a bit in the dark ages with some of the more modern techniques. You know, they want to do it, they just don't necessarily know how to execute that really well, or they want to do it, they'll try to do it, but they, like I say, they just don't have the time to actually do it to the level that it deserves to be done at. So there's value in that
sees results as well.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
But no, it is interesting. It's a no-brainer, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you put it like that, I don't think.
Today.
Do you think? Yeah. Get the brains and the beauty. Obviously, beauty. But
I thought you were going to say brains.
No, I don't think so. So I think we touched on like collaborations. How much input do clients need to put? How much, like, is it just all us? Is it all them? I guess it, like you said, it does differ between different clients and how much input they need to put. But at the start, obviously, it is a lot of communication just to get all onboarded and that kind of thing.
Yeah, then I think it comes down to, like, once we've got that strategy in place, like, you know, they're working on campaigns on email that would also fit into the social that we're running, for example. So it's making sure they give enough notice, like, do you want to run that campaign through social, paid, whatever, and then being able to, you know, share any assets or just share, you know, the information about that particular campaign, so then we can build out the campaign on that channel. So I think it's just about, you know, we're not asking for you to do anything for us. We're just asking you to say, right, this is what's happening over here. We'd like it to happen here. Here's 2 weeks' notice. You know, because, you know, generally speaking, they've got a plan for 12 months. So they know what's coming. Yeah. So just, right, starting on 7 a.m. on the 7th of March or whatever it is, you know, just tell us that. Otherwise, it makes our life really difficult.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We understand that not everybody's got time though, but
yeah, and then the collaboration more comes down to, like, back to almost through the communication and making sure that you've got, you know, there's regular meetings in place. Okay, in this meeting, this is the agenda. Okay, now we need from you, we need this, and this for these campaigns or for, you know, whatever it is we're doing kind of going forward.
Yeah, and I guess if they have got internal marketing, it's just coinciding what we're doing with what they're doing.
Yeah. New assets they've had shot maybe, or, you know, maybe if it's a travel brand, maybe they're going to a new location, or, you so we don't have any assets or anything for that particular thing, or a new hotel, or furniture brand, they've got a new sofa in, or a new whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just giving us that, constantly letting us know like what else is happening that we don't necessarily
Not
kind of privy to.
Yeah.
Just so we can then factor that into the content that we're doing, or
just having that consistent message all the way through, isn't it?
Yeah. So it doesn't look really ideally from the outside. No one knows we even exist.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be, really.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It should be that seamless. I mean, underneath the water, you're paddling like hell, I suppose, but on the surface, you're a swan that just the stuff's just happening. But yeah, I'd say if you want to work with an agency, make the most of it.
Oh yeah, you're paying, so why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just you can't just leave us to it.
No.
Not that you won't get a good result, but you won't get as good a result.
Yeah, we've got to work together. I think that's the main thing.
If you want exceptional results, you've got to put a little bit of time in, but not as much time. And I think that's the point, isn't it? Is like you have to put a bit of time into it, but not as much time as you would have had to have put into it.
Yeah, if you were to do it all in-house.
Yeah, and all yourself or whatever it is. So, but the output is just so much better if you can just give that little bit. Those maybe. I mean, we're probably talking like a couple of hours a week, like
if that.
Yeah, but just dedicate that little bit of time.
Yeah.
Don't take a week to respond in a day or two or whatever.
Timely. Yeah. 1 to 2 business days, please.
Yeah, ideal. Yeah, I think that's the kind of main message, really.
I think that is the main message, but
yeah, collaboration, communication.
I think communication is key.
And the benchmarking as well. I think that's important.
Which I think all comes down to communication as well, just setting out clear targets and
making sure that everyone knows what's expected of them individually. And that goes from agencies as well. Make sure you're telling the client what you need from them. Yeah. And set up those channels that work for that client.
Oh, 100%.
So plug them into your Slack, your Teams, your whatever channel it is that you're kind of using. Set the project, make sure it's all happening. Yeah.
Did you imagine you'd be an agency owner?
No,
but here we are. Life works in mysterious ways.
It does, but it's a good environment, isn't it? Because you get to speak to me particularly. I speak more than most people. Like I say, 70% of the people you speak to don't end up being a client, but it's what you take from those conversations.
Yeah, you can't be everyone's cup of tea.
And it's not just that; it's also just taking, nuggets of information that they're giving to you about, because we're focused on some certain industries. So, can I use something from that conversation, the next conversation I have? What did I do wrong there that I can bring into this one kind of going forward?
100%. And I think that's why feedback, especially like if we do lose clients and that, just like why, and just we're all about gaining the feedback, aren't we? We just we love it.
Yeah, and I really value that, like talking to so many people, because you do get a real good view of what's happening in certain markets or industries.
Oh yeah.
And you're speaking, generally I'm speaking to, marketing directors, CMOs, experienced entrepreneurs, marketing managers that have been working in these types of businesses for a long time. So, I'm trying to absorb as much from them as I possibly can, because does that then filter into the rest of what we're doing and how we present our offering, how we, are we presenting it in a way that's too complicated, or am I making it sound too simple?
Yeah.
Sometimes if you make something sound too simple, they think, well, there's no value in that.
No, we'll just do it ourselves.
Or you make it sound too complicated and they go, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. Like, I don't
switching off.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Sounds expensive. That's what they
Yeah,
think.
yeah, true. Yeah, probably. So yeah, it's that balance, isn't it? Of, you know, trying to get it right and quickly understanding what that person, what their motivation is to be even on the call in the first place.
I was going to say, I guess it changes depending on who you're speaking to, and you've got to think of that real quick.
Yeah, my brain super fast.
I don't think so.
No, but like I said, I'm used to that.
Yeah.
Now, so I'm, those are the conversations that I like. 'Cause it's your first opportunity to kind of, and if someone's booked a call with you, they're reasonably motivated, right, to be having that conversation, and it's then just trying to show that you're the solution to the problem they've got, I think. But from on their side, I would say it's just like, give them as the agency as much as you possibly can do. Again, whether that's expectations or whatever it is, give them as much as you can, because then the proposal will be so much more tailored to what you want.
Yeah, I think that is the more of the story, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, it's all about the communications either way, and sometimes I would say it's not necessarily. I always leave it by saying it's probably why we don't win as much business as we probably should do. I always say, go with your gut feeling of people that you feel that you can work with and you like.
Yeah.
And being not very likable, that's probably not the. That's probably where I'm going wrong. Oh dear. Never mind.
Never mind.
I have to get someone less grumpy.
Are you fishing for compliments?
I ain't going to find any around here, am I? So.
Absolutely. I think we'll wrap it up there then, before this turns into a little sob story.
Yeah, get my tiny little violin out.
But no, I think it has been quite insightful, because not everybody knows what agency does or the benefits.
Some people have never worked with them, have they? So
no, some people never will.
No. But yeah, if you are, I'd say they're the key. They're the key things that you need to kind of think about, consider.
Yeah.
It's full of benefits. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's always perfect. It's not always the best thing, but
it can be.
There's so many of them because that they have their place. And there's some really creative people around. That you want to be working on your brand. So just give them the best chance to deliver the result you want.
100%. So
cool.
I guess that's a wrap for today.
Yeah, enjoyed that.
Did you?
I've got a bit of a sore throat now.
Have you? Talking too much.
Yeah.
Moaning as per usual, so we'll wrap that up.
Yeah, see you
See you
next
later.
time.
Bye.
Bye.